Hello, welcome to episode 132 of We Have Issues. I'm Anthony.
And I am Stevie Wildcard.
And every week, Stevie Wildcard and I get together and we do our best to take all the various issues that life throws our way and we give them ingrown hairs on their face so that their face grows more face and they feel insecure and they can do nothing with their lives. They just sit there and they wallow in the self-pity and madness, knowing that once they didn't look like that, but now they do. They're just hideous Quasimodos. And then while they're crying in the corner, we try to get something done and we make comic books, Stephen. That's what we do.
See, I kind of like ingrown hairs, though, if I'm honest. Like, they're so fun to mess with tweezers and stuff.
Okay, I get it. Like, I agree. 99% of the time, like most of the time, honestly, I'll tell you, I have little pock marks all over my face because I can't not pick at, like, if I have a blackhead or something on my face, it's gonna come out. Like, it's happening. There is no like, oh, it wasn't ready. I'm like, it's gonna be. It's about like I'm about to make it ready. I can't wait. I have zero chill when it comes to
you're 10% ready. Well, get ready, baby, because we're going 100. We're going all the way.
It looks like you're bad at math because we're doing this. we're diving in. I feel like Miss Frizzle. I'm just like, oh no, we're about to get messy and make mistakes. Like we're
formed enough to see, old enough for me.
Oh god. But like, no, I totally get it. However, Steven, I'll tell you, we all deal with insecurities. Yeah, right. Like, you look at yourself, you don't always like the way you look. Sometimes you do, it's the whole meme of like, oh, felt cute, might delete later or whatever. It's like you see yourself and like, sometimes you're like, yeah, I like this, and like you're like, oh, this is a rare sighting. It's like Bigfoot. It's like your attractiveness is blurred in the mirror, and you're like, oh, okay, a little bit, I'm in. Like this does exist. So like sometimes I get that, and I'm like, yes. And then sometimes, Steven, today, for instance, right, I looked in the mirror and I was just like, what is this ghoul staring at me? I was who put clothes on this like mannequin and like left it out in the sun for a week? Like, what is this? What happened? Like, this is a skeleton that someone just like put like meat on and then like put it in an oven and it looks like a meatloaf with hair. Like, what is happening with this face right now? And I was like, oh, that's me. That's just what I look like. But I was like, I had that moment where I was just like, but why? Like, why? What's the difference, right? So I'm looking at the mirror. I'm like, is it my hair? Like, I cut my hair recently. Maybe I just hate it. Sometimes I make mistakes. Like, who cares? It happens. Trying to figure it out, right? I'm trying to figure it out. I'm looking in the mirror. I'm like, okay, I go so far as like, I go from wearing a t-shirt because it's hot out, so I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna put a collared shirt on. It's usually my go-to. I wear collared shirts whenever I can. If it's comfortable, I prefer them. So I put on a collared shirt. I was like, still don't like myself. I hate this. What's going on? And I look closer in the mirror and like, I stop looking at my hair. I stop looking at, and I notice I just have an obvious, like just a Mount Everest on my face. And I'm just like, oh, I am deformed right now. Like I like,
you just start singing from like a church bell. Like
it took me so long to realize that I had an obvious like just I have something forming on my face, whereas it's just not normal, or it's not the usual look of my face. So I was like, I have some new topography, like I have something to climb here that was not there previously. But it was just so funny because it took me so long. Like I was just like, why do I suck right now? And why? Like I'm just not noticing it at all. I'm just like, I am so gross today. Anyway, so I was just like, I hate this. I put ice on my face. It went down a little bit, but I can still see it. It's it's one of those things where it's like, of course it's more apparent to you than it is to anybody else. But to me, I'm just like,
this is it.
I'm a monster.
That's me before my brother Cassius hit me in the face with a shovel. There's me now.
Yeah, I'm no George Clooney. But yeah, dude.
For me, it's always the front-facing camera is one of the cruelest angles I've ever seen. Like there's like, that's why everyone does this.
It's so good, dude. It's so good. Like you can't, like, I can never be president because I swear I would sign it day one. I'm like, listen, first of all, if you ever open your camera and you see yourself, you have to post that picture. It just, first of all, one, you have to post that picture. Number two, if you, whatever typo, if your typo creates a new word, that's your life now. If you say have a hood night. Have a hood night, grandma.
Have a hood night.
Have a hood night. That's just how
and
it
she
goes
better
now.
send back that meme with the sunglasses and the joint, you know, like sticking out over an image, you know, that's how grandma has to respond.
But no, I'm totally with like, but we all have that, like, we all have that weird experience of seeing it and be like, ooh, that's what we look like to people who are shorter than us. And you and I are slightly taller than the average bear, unfortunately for them, because they all have to see that angle, right? Is that what people are seeing?
Well, but see that intense angle, some people hate that angle, but it actually looks kind of good on me. It's literally just
good for Tina. Good for Tina.
But like when my face gets round, like there's something about like the actual camera lens on the iPhone or on any phone, it just like rounds it weird, like to try to create something. Because I know my face doesn't look like that because I see like candid photos of myself and I know that's not what I look like. But then like, man, like when that screen goes dark on a video and you're just looking at your like ugly mug, even that's not as bad as the front. That's why front facing camera, like you always see like those, you have to go for an angle with it because like
we have to. I find it interesting that like how often, like how many people, there are only so many flattering angles for us. You know, because we're all kind of like similarly conditioned, you know, to be like, oh, I'm attracted to this look or this look, and if a nose looks this way, or if there's symmetry, it you know, whatever. But it is interesting to see like when people discover their angle and all of their pictures look the same. Like I'm bad at pictures, and that's why a lot of my pictures look the same. Because first of all, like I'll look away from camera because if I look at myself, I feel like my eyes will be crazy no matter what I do. Because I'm just like I'm like, oh, do I like I'm trying to make myself laugh, and it doesn't. Like I'm just like
I follow the supposed like I don't know. I saw it on a video one time, and I don't always because I feel like I do have dimples and stuff, and my face does look like good, happy. But there's like this you lift your eyes like you're smiling.
You smile,
and then like
situation,
and then you just lower your lips, but keep your eyebrows up, and then that creates like that.
But that's like the Zoolander look, right?
Yes.
Like, but
like, you're not going duck face. Like you're just
yeah. But like, there reminds me. Wait, who did that recently? The laughing with the not, was it Dina?
Dina was talking about
it. Told us about that with the it's so interesting to like laugh and not move your face. But yeah, dude. So, but like we all have like angles and we all have things, you know. I mean, it's important to feel comfortable and confident. But you know, it's also weird. You know, it's like we don't want to misrepresent ourselves, you know, but it's like it's how are we not ourselves? It's all very interesting. But I'll tell you, Stephen, the real miracle of today in the modern day, and with all the technology and the fact that we've all opened that front-facing camera, Stephen, how have none of us gone live on the toilet by mistake? Like I've never seen it happen. It's never happened to me. It's never happened. Like it's never happened. How are we, like, our brains are like, listen, I'll do a lot of things while I'm pooping, but I'm going to meatloaf this situation. I will not do that.
I got this completely programmed into the subconscious, that every psyche that this will never happen. Like I've taken every measure. I've taken every.
So okay. So there was how do I talk about the story? Okay. So Steven, so if you recall, and I'm sorry for my family members who want to see me as a sexless innkeeper, but I have had very limited experience with meeting someone, like meeting people for trying to hook up. We're like this is our intention, this is what we're gonna do, right? But do you remember, if you recall, I really only have the one story, okay? And like it was the one with the guy on the couch. Do you remember that story?
Yes.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, and I'm sorry, I hope you can appreciate my candor, I am telling the story for a reason. But I'll give you that context for that because it sounds insane. But I was talking to this person. I met them on a dating app. I'm trying to tell this quickly. I'm sorry, but I met them on a dating app, and we went through like the motions of talking. They were like, I have Snapchat, and I was like, I don't know what that is because I'm old. And they were like, I'm old too, but I use it for nudes. And I was like, then I'm downloading Snapchat. Like I'm not gonna like I'm
already. Sounds like a wonderful program.
It sounds like a fantastic program. Why do I not have stock in this? You know, so it's like hang on one second. I'm in. So like my next message to them was basically, so anyway, this is my screen. This is my account username.
I know what she was saying, but it started making a lot of sense.
I'm like, me too. Yeah, I also am on the Snapchat now, so she starts messaging me. And so she starts messaging me and sending me pictures and stuff, and we're like, being flirtatious and stuff. And eventually I got to the point where I was like, okay, wait, what if she's gonna murder me? I was just like,
she's trying to harvest my healthy organs.
I was like, look, I have some pretty nice organs. Like outside sometimes looks terrible. Inside, as far as we know,
this body is a friggin' temple. Okay?
It's a wonderland, like so I was just like, I don't know, she's gonna kill me. I got to the point where, because I've never had experiences like this. I've never gone to a bar and just been like, oh yeah, now we're gonna hook up and you leave and it happens. Like that's never happened to me. My life has always been, you meet someone one way or another, you interact, you start liking each other, it slowly progresses over time, and then you start a relationship, and then that relationship progresses, and then you start other, you do things together, have experiences, and then that, and then you break up. That's the relationship. So, but
10 times out of 10. I'm sorry.
So I meet this person. So eventually I'm just like, look, they're either a vampire and I get to find out that vampires are real. This is how I die, and it's interesting. Or I might get to sleep with someone, which worth it, right? Like
it sounds too good to be true, but you know what? I'm willing to roll that D20.
So fortunately, I rolled high on my constitution, or what I did. I was not murdered,
but not high enough, apparently.
Yes. But I show up to this place, and I was just like, oh, this is not as comfortable as I would like it to be. I was like, immediately just like,
very Larry David of you, just like, well, see, I have this list of like what I would like to have to accommodate me in such a situation.
You didn't provide me with the green M&Ms as requested. But like as I get in there, I noticed like there's stuff on the floor, and I was just like, okay, you know what? Look, I'm not trying to marry this person. We know this. Like, what am I doing? I don't want to Seinfeld my way out of this. Like I'm going through this. So as I'm gonna have this experience.
This was more than just sex at this point.
Like, why? I don't know, Steven. Is it what else are we doing with life, man? Like, this is what we're doing, right? Like, we're going through it. I'm trying to have these experiences. I'm living my life. I was like, you know what? Like, this is something people do sometimes. I'm people sometimes. Let's do this. So I go through I cross this threshold in search of other thresholds. And Steven,
is it the boxes? Is that what we're doing? Is that the location?
Do you need me to help you move, or are you gonna murder me and put me
this girl with the candlestick on the boxes? Is that what's happening?
So I'm looking around there, like there's stuff on the floor, just like stuff. And it's like, it's interesting because it's like, I have stuff on the floor right now. Like I have comics on the floor. And I get it, like houses get messy, but there's just stuff like newspapers and stuff, and not necessarily like a full hoarder, but like stuff, stuff. But among the stuff, Steven, among the stuff on a couch, clearly pretending
amongst the rubble of
amongst the detritus, the debris, just in this post-apocalyptic wasteland of sex that I am walking through, is someone clearly pretending to sleep on the couch. There's
pretending to. He's got his eye like he's got. It's like Kevin Hart's grandma, just like kind of looking to the.
They were the person in that Metallica song. They were sleeping with one eye open, Steven. They knew what was happening. I know,
because they want to see somebody grip their pillow tight. And they want to see the Ant-Man enter. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I knew it was coming. Okay, but let's get to the reason I'm telling the story. So we got like, stuff happens. Doesn't matter. And then I said to her, I'm like, okay, I noticed that not only were you sending me, and now this is purely curiosity, right? Like no judgment. I just want to know what your life is, because like this is interesting to me. Like at this point, I'm studying this, right? Like I don't know what's like this is not my culture and heritage. I don't know what this is, so I'm just like, tell me your ways. Like I need to understand what's happening. So I said to her, I was like, okay, so I noticed on Snapchat, right? You have the ability, or like you know, the primary use of Snapchat, aside from messaging individuals, is just like a TikTok-y situation where you post a video and it's like there for a day and then it's not, I mean, although TikTok's forever, but like it's basically that. It's just like hey, here's a picture or a video. It's going to stay up for 24 hours or until you take it down within that time, and then it disappears. She posted publicly for literally anyone to see, just nudes, and I was just like, wow, super brave. I was just like, I asked her, I was just like, so is this something you do? Is that something you do? And she's like, oh, and then she lied. And I don't know why. Like, I can't. I don't know why.
There was no judgment on my part. I was just,
I'm sitting there.
I am just curious and trying to understand.
I'm still like, and I like, fine, you like attention. I don't care. I like attention too. I'm literally in your room right now after thinking you might be a vampire. Like, we're working through this. Let's just be honest with each other. Like, what are we doing? So I asked her, and like her response, Steven, was, oh, that was an accident. And I was like, no, it couldn't have been. Like how? What do you mean? And so I was like, so Steven, I should have just been like, oh, cool, and then left. But what I said instead was, can you show me how this happens? Because Steven, like if you know, right? Like, let's just say, like, if you were like, Tina, don't put this letter in the mailbox. I can't send it out until tomorrow. And she's like, okay, I won't. And you come home and she's like, listen, that letter made its way to the mailbox. And you're like, how? And she's like, it was an accident. And you're like, there's a series of steps that one must take in order to get from point A to point B. And you took all of them.
You picked it up. You walked outside, which you don't want to do.
No one wants to do this. Basically, so what she said was, she's like, oh, it was an accident. I was like, okay, can you show me? Can you show me how this happened? And she was like, Steven, and she did the thing, like, she took a picture, right? And she did this thing where she goes, and she saw, and I saw her see the series of steps and how simple, like how you have to deliberately take the picture and then deliberately hit post and and so she did the thing where, like, you ever see a movie or like a TV show where like someone pretends to trip to pull someone down with them to be like, oh, we fell, and then it's like this like cutesy moment that they're trying to like create artificially. So she went, whoops, and like you see her thumb slowly go down. It was just like awkward, and I was just like, yeah, I don't know. And I was like, oh yeah. And I'm so bad at that. I'm just like, this is not a moment for me. Like, I can't do it, because I'm just like, none of us have anything to gain from this. Like, I don't like, what are we doing? Like, it's fine. I don't care. No one cares. I saw, like, I'm here. Like, I saw the picture and still ended up here. Like, which means, like, I don't care. What are you doing? Who are you protecting here?
Yeah, like, there's nothing to protect. We knew what so this was. But I thought it could possibly be like lycanthropy situation, but obviously that's not the case.
But it's just so interesting how, like, people do that sort of thing, and people have, we all have those things. We want attention in various ways, and and we're also insecure about getting that attention, and we're also insecure about wanting that attention, and it's like, it's so frustrating that to like go through it and feel that like weird like affectation of like, I don't care what people think. No, here's the thing. I don't care what people think, insofar as I won't change the things I love and the things I do and the things I want, and like, if I am well-intended and know that what I'm doing is the right thing, like, I'm not going to like not like Evil Dead 2 because someone's like, that movie's stupid. I'm like, I don't care. Your opinion of this thing is irrelevant.
There's no way it's swaying me.
Yeah, it's exactly. And it's just like, there are things like, yeah, sure, everything could be subjective, but we also have these like, definitive, objective, predilections, like we have things that we prefer in life that we literally couldn't not feel, like you can't not like cheeseburgers, like you're gonna eat a cheeseburger and your body literally is saying like, yeah, this is for me. Like, that's
going to sing your peasant song, Steven, from your ancestors who only feasted like, upon potatoes.
I was gonna say, that's exactly how I feel. If I eat mashed potatoes, I'm just like, nothing could tell me this is bad.
No, yeah,
it doesn't matter. You can't.
I will, yeah, especially potatoes, man. Oh, yeah. Potatoes, you can't get potatoes wrong. The only way you can get potatoes wrong is if you mess up the cooking process somehow. But like, as long as they're in any form, they're great.
It's so true. And it's
I
like,
will
mean,
say this though.
good.
Cubed hash browns are the weakest potato. I'm gonna say it now.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean,
I think it's a fair assessment. Yeah, it's
the
just
whole texture is a little off with.
yep. Cubed hash browns is I would still eat the crap out of them,
Oh,
but
yeah. Of course,
it's the weakest potato out of all the potatoes.
But like, it's so interesting because like I find myself there. Like when I start feeling really insecure, like hear people kind of like, but like hating on things that I like, and I feel myself like tethered, like like you feel that attack, you know, and you're like, oh, maybe I should fight them. And I'm just like, no, wait, this is stupid. What am I doing? Like they're just they're poorly they're basically they're poorly communicating what their identity is, you know,
Yeah.
like instead of identifying and like specifically saying, hey, these are the things I love and this is what I do, they're saying my feelings need to be validated by defining everything as me and what I like and who I am. And it's like cheeseburgers are bad. No, you just don't like them, and that's okay. Go away. You know, like stop it, you know.
Yeah, the absence of liking something isn't necessarily personality trait.
And it's, I mean, but it stings too because like I've been feeling more and more on social media these days that like having that like people love the torches and the pitchforks and shaking fists more than anything else. Like people bond over shared hatred more and frustration more than they bond over shared love so often these days, you know, like it's really hard to find, you know, like you find people and you're like, hey, you right, me too, and then like without then falling into some like, hey, do you like the Oxford comma, and like come on, can we just love this thing? Let's love stuff, you know. But it's so frustrating. And like I saw it today with the Little Mermaid trailer came out. Did you see it, by the way?
I saw actually when I saw that's what we did. I went and saw Ninja Turtles in the movie theaters, which was awesome.
Yeah,
the first one, which is great. Like it's the closest to the comics, you know. But
it's so good. The music in that is so good too.
Oh, dude, that whole movie is a great experience. But they played the Little Mermaid trailer, but I think it was still the same teaser trailer because I remember seeing
Did
that.
you see Ursula?
I have not seen Ursula yet,
Okay,
so I haven't
there you
seen
go.
the full.
Yeah, so in the new one, you get to see you get to see a lot more of Melissa McCarthy as Ursula, and more importantly, in my mind, you get to hear Melissa McCarthy as Ursula, and she sounds, to my ears, in that trailer at the very least, freaking awesome, like phenomenal. Like I am someone who like I'm not a big fan of the live action adaptations of these Disney movies, mostly because I like stylistic representations of things. Like I love The Lion King in that like. The best part about The Lion King isn't that they look like real lions or look like real birds or look like real, you know, anything. It's that the characters and how they represent themselves and come out. And so when you translate that into photorealistic imagery, you don't get the same expression. You don't get the same, you know, it doesn't feel
Absolutely.
the same. And like, so I have a little bit of like curmudgeon, like fish shakery that happens when I watch things like the Little Mermaid trailer. And I'm just like, Sebastian's just a crab. It's a crab. It's a crab. Sebastian in the movie doesn't look like a crab, not really, not like a real
why
crab.
didn't they try to like make it photorealistic but cartoonish proportion? Okay. I don't understand.
What I don't understand is why not learn from Sonic? You can texturize things in a way that feels real while maintaining the stylistic integrity of the cartoon world, you know. And like I wonder if they at least tried. Maybe they tried and they were like, this is too like uncanny valley. But I find the uncanny valley in the like talking crab. I see the little talking crab and I see like, you know, the fish that just look like fish, and I'm just like, you just look like fish, you know. So like I find like I start doing, you know, shaking my fist. However, Steven, I'll tell you, Melissa McCarthy sounds awesome, and the girl, the woman they have playing Ariel is so pretty, and her voice is like
powerful. Like yeah, her voice is friggin' like
amazing.
I actually legit did get goosebumps like during like especially in the movie theater. Like
dude.
I've only seen the trailer on my phone, you know, like the TV. So actually like being in the theater and hearing like that like power to her voice, it's gonna be that stuff's like, gonna be awesome.
It's good. Some of it's gonna be fun. I mean, Lin-Manuel Miranda like wrote a lot of the new songs and like lyrics and stuff, so it's gonna be fun. And it's like, but I'll tell you, Steven, it's just so weird because like there's so many people already hating on it because they get that attention. They get that, like, you know, that spike of endorphins. And people are like, hey, here's some reward for your little brain. And they're like, I'm going to keep doing this mean thing.
It's just like with the new TMNT where they were.
Yes.
What's crazy to me, and it did seem to go away pretty quick because of this, but they were complaining that April O'Neil is black in the new movie, right? Yeah. but she's originally black. But like they're trying to say that they're changing her. Like in the comics, like she was.
So here's the thing. As far as I'm concerned, forever and ever. I don't. First of all, I'm gonna say I don't even care what she originally was. Like I'm just gonna like I like there have been. I will say, especially with properties like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, there have been enough adaptations, including ones in which she was black and white, like various various iterations of it, that it's irrelevant. What are you doing? It's not as if we're like, hey man, this is our only ever attempt at getting a movie with with April O'Neil, and I just want you to get it right. It's like, no, we're allowed to change and evolve and like jump back and forth and have different adaptations and do whatever we want.
And I'm all about that, but I'm just saying, even with their own argument, they lose. Well, and that's what's crazy. Like, even if you want to humor their crazy argument, they're still wrong somehow. Like they just don't understand.
I think the funniest thing is like, okay, like because you have to like reduce it to the very bare bones of their argument is she wasn't black or whatever, which first of all, I don't like entertaining it because like I feel like it just gives them, like I don't want to give them any voice at all. However, I will say like okay, she was a character of color in the original one, regardless of what her actual race was in the beginning. Mm-hmm. She was a character of color of some sort, and she, the one of the creators apparently wanted to, style her after one of his, his girlfriend at the time. The other creator didn't necessarily want to copy that, so they kind of met in the middle and found, April as she was, who is an obviously like ethnically ambiguous, like curly haired, person for a long time in the comics, and it changes back and forth, and like it becomes this redhead white woman, and like all that, like, but it's just okay, there's already a precedent for this. You can't pretend that there's not. But Steven, I'll tell you this. 99% of those people are the same audience that said, what? They're making a She-Hulk now? Freaking woke ass murder. Not recognizing that She-Hulk has been a staple of Marvel forever. And
for so long. And like they actually got her character like so right too. It's just like it's so crazy like how this I don't understand it.
Well,
are they like feeling like invaded? Like, are they feeling invaded on their like air? They're not even people that are from that. That's the thing. It's not even the people that we grew up with. You know what I'm saying?
What I see in it more than anything else, aside from general like prejudice, like because obviously that's a huge part of it. It just is, and it sucks, But if like just outside of that, where people are like, or even if like the veneer of reason, like I feel like what happens to a lot of people is they have their definition of a thing, right? Like you have like someone's definition of a cheeseburger is the worst cheeseburger in the world. And like, oh, cheeseburgers are gross. They suck. How do you like cheeseburgers? They're the worst, and you're like, no, cheeseburgers are really good. And if your argument is they suck versus they're good, you're just going to keep bumping heads. And it's like the immovable object versus, the unstoppable force. It's just going to keep going, until you stop. And you're like, look, we have to call it quits on this argument. That's the only way this is ever going to start. We have to change our perspective a little bit here. And it feels like what happens is these people define these characters in however either they prefer the character or how it was presented to them when they first discovered it, right? And like a lot of people with April O'Neil in particular, they were 12 years old, 13 years old, like young, stupid, pubescent boys discovering sexuality and realizing they have crushes on people. And now they want a sexy news reporter who hangs out with like teenage turtles. It's like, come on. It's allowed to not be your particular preference as far as like how the thing is presented. It doesn't have to turn you on, it's like
we're way past that.
but it's
I'm gonna try to use that the TGI Fridays over on Franklin Mills.
But that's so like aside from like the basic prejudice and like the racism that clearly exists, it's just like, look, man, it's okay that it isn't your particular like headcanon of that character for the moment. Let someone else develop and present their definition of this thing. And if it doesn't work, guess what's going to happen? Ben Affleck Daredevil is going to happen. It's going to disappear. guess what's gonna happen? It's gonna like freaking David Hasselhoff, Nick Fury. It's gonna disappear. That's all that happens. Everything we experience is just natural selection, or like artificial selection, as we choose as a society, and we're just like, look, this works. You know what? I like seeing this character in this way, so we're going to keep doing it as long as we can. And we see that over and over with Hollywood. That's what they do. They're going to, as long as there's money there and as long as there's an audience there, they're going to keep doing it. And the truth is, the Turtles have waxed and waned over years. They have absolutely been like a huge like blockbuster force, and they're amazing. But the thing that makes the Turtles like indelible, or like, there's like a strong force in our society, or culture rather, isn't April O'Neil. I mean, she's obviously an important character and she can be a wonderful character, but she's mostly an amorphous, just like she is like an audience stand-in, like
she's their connection to the world, right? I mean, that's how I kind of view, she's they're the human that trusts them, the human that she's New York, they're the sewers. Like, this is how they
and there's a lot you can do with that character, but it isn't a chiseled statue of a character in our culture yet. Like, to some people, they have their statue and they're like, this is what this is. It's just simply, there is no forever. Everything crumbles, everything evolves, everything is natural selection. This character, maybe this one will stick for a while, maybe it won't. It really doesn't matter. It's just going to be another roll of the evolutionary dice as we go, and people either like it or they don't. And if you hate it, fine, but don't try to use a time machine to step on it before you get to see it in its adolescence or whatever. At least go watch the movie. Or if you want,
it at least look like it's gonna have like a Spider-Verse-y like animation thing going on. Like, it's gonna be fun to look at for sure.
Yeah, dude. And
I think honestly, dude, I think what's happening with the Turtles is the same thing that's happened to Star Wars, and what honestly even happens to Pokemon. But like, people like me, like, I just love things for what they are at their core. Like, I really do. Like for me, like, I've been playing, like, for example, Pokemon since I was 10 years old, right?
Yeah.
And people are expecting so much more depth from Pokemon, and it's like, dude, Pokemon's not for 35-year-old you. Pokemon is for the next 10-year-old.
Yeah.
And like, you can go live and be that 10-year-old again and enjoy these games, or you can be a 35-year-old dickbag that's complaining about Pokemon. Exactly. Like this Ninja Turtles movie is for you, but it's not. It's for Cambria. It's for Atlas. It's for Chase. That's who it's for.
Well,
just like how the
I mean, it's for our inner children that you're unfortunately letting die.
You're just killing it.
Pitchfork hire.
What would 10-year-old you think about this trailer
of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Exactly, dude.
Stop letting 35-year-old you watch it. It's so weird. I don't get it.
I mean, it's. I think it's also just a matter of mortality. I think it's like, when you see something that you don't identify with anymore as strongly as you once did, you feel like you're closer to death. Like, you're like, I'm being taken over. You feel your identity being threatened by this new force, of youth. And then it's like, how can I? No, it's the Skinner thing. It's no, it's not me. It's the children who are wrong. Like,
see, but me, I just body shift to 10-year-old Steven and enjoy everything. That's literally what I do. Like, that's how I live. Like, I'm just
that's something that you and I have always had in common, where it's like, yeah, we will shake our fists at things, and like, once we don't like something, we'll like find more things not to like, and like for each other, and have conversations about it, and it'll be fun. However, we'll both find so much to love about so many
absolutely
things.
Unless they like really mess, they have to truly screw you. It truly has to be like a cash grab, no heart, no soul project.
And like that, of course, that exists. Of course, I mean, I want to try. I want to have like hope in the project. I keep my expectations kind of low, and I'm just like, look, I'm hoping for the best. If it's not good, it's not good. I just literally get to not watch it anymore. That's all it is. Like the other day, I was reminded that there was a remake of Footloose, and I was like, oh yeah, there was a remake of Footloose. Like,
there was a remake of Vacation that I never even saw. Freaking, it's just right?
Yeah. I was
Which
like,
you would think it'd be up. I love him in The Office. I loved
yeah.
him in the Hangover trilogy. Like,
But some things just like, who cares? It literally, it's just like in one ear and out the other of all of our culture. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. And like in most of the conversation that happens is just this like shaking of fists. And that's
and dude, but it's almost like they like feel like it can't ever be better than it was. And I'm gonna say that that's untrue because like I think of even for me, obviously the first two Turtle movies are like almost like Tim Burton-esque in Batman. Like, TMNT and like Secret of the Ooze are both awesome movies. As I've gotten older, I think the first one's the best one. Young me definitely loved Secret of the Ooze because it was for us at that age.
The babies!
But there has not been a single piece of Ninja Turtle situation, in my opinion, that was better than the Raphael and Leonardo fight on the roof in the rain in TMNT from like the mid 2000s. Do you remember that, dude?
Oh yeah, that was really good.
Dude, that fight and like that breakdown of like personalities between Raphael and Leonardo was like so amazingly executed. Like I remember being like early 20s and watching that and just like getting goosebumps. An animated movie, you know what I'm saying?
I remember going to see that and being like, oh, there's a Kevin Smith reference in this.
Yes, there was.
And all this stuff and just like, what? And just liking every, I don't know, it was fun. But yeah, dude, but we're trying, and like maybe we're like, you get old and you're like, you suck, and then you get a little older and you're like, you kind of might suck, but you might be good, and like I don't know, maybe we're finding that sweet spot. I don't know, but
there is a point where the edge drops off, I think, and you just become a completely humble person that's just like whatever.
Is that what we are? Like humans are just puzzles. And just like most other puzzles, you start by trying to solve the edge. You're like, I'm gonna find my edges.
I'm gonna get on my edges.
I'll get on my edges.
Well, I just think of like,
oh, it's a picture of a bunny.
I love it.
I love this.
Like, well, because like I remember like 24-year-old Steven, Mr. Pretentious with music, and like, oh, if it's not this, then you're just like, oh, you listen to Green Day, like, and like I'll be 36 this year. 36-year-old Steven's gonna be like, dude, I'm like, what you got to show me? Like, I'll find something to love from country, from every genre now. Like,
I was the same way, dude. Like, I remember I was that way with even like My Chemical Romance for a while, because I had my buckets that I lumped different things into, like I was like, look, I like this certain music, and then there's like the radio version of it where it's like that's where now Fall Out Boy is, and like Blink-182 is getting there, and then like beyond that, it was like there was the radio version that was copying that radio version to try. So I was like, Good Charlotte was in there, and Sum 41 was in there, and
Simple Plan,
and then those, and then like, so that happened to me, and then for me, I had my like emo post hardcore, like
you were like, listen, man, like you guys think like, and I get it, because like you were listening to like Cursive and like Bright Eyes and like all these bands that like were just like true emo, really. I mean, it's true to the genre. And then like it did become slightly like more popular, and it was more palatable for the masses. And then even like what you're saying, like even the more palatable for the masses, like the My Chemical Romances, the Fall Out Boys, the even like Census Fail and Silver Scene was kind of like teetering into that. Then you got to the, like what you're saying, like the highest tier of like pure marketing of that scene,
but like for a while it was like I was like, oh, I like this version of like screamo stuff or what, hardcore. And then I was like, oh, but My Chemical Romance is trying to do this thing, I don't like it. But then like the funniest thing for me was like I took a turn during Black Parade, because I was
the hardest turn ever taken.
So silly, because I was just like, this is their most theatrical, ridiculous, in your face, we're trying to get attention type of album. But it was so well crafted and so perfect.
From start to finish, that album is
I was like, listen, you have my attention. I love this. I love everything you're doing. I'm sorry. I'm gonna put makeup on my eyes.
You had me at when I was, okay?
You had me at
the G. The high G is what you had me at.
Like they did. As soon as like I remember watching like live videos of them being like, I love this band now. Like this is, I take back, like I've never been a person who was just like, hey, you suck if you like them, blah, blah, blah. I never did that. But for me it was just like, nah, not for me. They're like, nah, they're too stupid and silly. They're not real music. And then I was like, never mind, fine. They're making
I was wrong. I'm gonna take the L here, okay?
Oh, I took the L. I took it. But anyway, it's interesting, like finding the things that define you as a person as you get older. And it's like, but Steven, like you and I we're pretty good at maintaining that like youthful like exuberance. Like, you know, we appreciate things still, and we find that, and like maybe some of it's selfish, or like maybe some of it's kind of like we're hoping other people find that in our stuff, or like, oh, maybe don't hate us, you know, like
we're not fossils yet, kiddos.
Yeah.
How's it going, kids with a Z?
But I don't
Hello,
do,
kids.
but it's but it's so interesting. And then like, but like we're trying, but like here we are, we're like, this is what we are. And like for a while we're like, we're people who struggle, and like we're still people who struggle. We're, you know, like, but I feel like we're kind of like aging out of that identity, where it's like we still have struggles, but we're now to the point where we recently sold out of our comic book. Like we're people who like we have things that we can be proud of finally, you know, or it's like we have things that like we can identify with that are untouchables in my mind, where I'm like, look, you can call me whatever you want. And yes, I go through bouts of like imposter syndrome. I go through bouts of like feeling like no one's going to read this crap. No one cares about this but me. I'm just taking all my trauma and turning it into stories. Who wants that? This is the free therapy that I should just be paying for. This isn't fair to do to people. But it's like I go through all this stuff, but like the reality of the situation is we're two people who've worked really, really hard at what we're doing. We have a Kickstarter live right now. If you've gotten this far in the episode and you haven't backed it, please go check the link below. But Steven, our Kickstarter right now, dude, is at 241% funded as of now.
It's so great, dude. Like
we have, and like when this airs, we should have about 18 days left of our campaign. 18 days left, and we have 86 backers. Steven, we've earned $4,825 so far.
It
blows my mind.
Absolutely insane. And like we said, where we've talked about, we've surpassed Deathless 1, which is an awesome feeling. It means that people either really want issue 2,
yes,
or feel like they missed out on issue 1,
Steven,
which is both very good things. You know what I'm saying?
I'm so proud of us for having like the catch-up tiers where people can get issue 1 and issue 2 of the book, and seeing like how many people have been doing that, like both physical and digital. People are like, oh, I do want to catch up with this, and like showing up for this for both books now. Like that's why now we have more backers than you know the previous Kickstarter. But our Steven, I'm telling you, I feel so good about this. I feel so proud and happy of where we are now. But there's a part of me that I'm just like, all I want is for it to do better than Play It Again. Like I just like if we pass our first book, I'll feel like, and not that I don't already feel like it's something, and like I don't feel like I don't believe in it. I do. I believe in it, and I'm here for it, and I can't wait. I literally just text you and said this is like your best thing you've ever drawn. Like I feel like our work is like surpassing everything we've ever done over and over. We're constantly like getting better, but I feel if that's represented in the amount of support that we see from the communities, that'll feel real to me, you know, like
yeah, I mean, I think, and the reason why Deathless 1 didn't top Play It Again either is like the tough part about Play It Again is we definitely had that, oh, you kids are trying to do something with your life, so we got a lot of that extra support from like relatives and like friends that, you know, like, but honestly, I think the most beautiful thing about Deathless 2 that surpasses Play It Again, that surpasses Deathless 1, is how much love we're getting from everyone that we've met and become friends with on Twitter, which is such a cool experience, because like I do my best to showcase it, because I am a genuine person. Like I'm not dishonest with like how I react to people or anything like that. So like I genuinely like love the people I like meet on Twitter and befriend and have social, because I mean, like it's the first time any generation's really had those kinds of social circles. So of course there's the judgment about what those social circles can even be.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, that's like that's like my community room, you know. I'm like, that's
and it's so hard, Steven, because like as people, right? Like as like actual like meat having skeletons, like as people in the world, we all have to remember that one another, we are all living full beings. Like we all have we're living full lives as individuals. We don't owe one another anything. You know, it's like when you and I, when you interact with people, you have to be treating them as if they are an end in and of themselves, not a means to an end for you to accomplish, you know?
Exactly.
And I feel like it's a weird Venn diagram of existence, because we're all at the same time in that weird simulated meat space of needing something from other people almost all the time, you know? So it's like when I see someone, I have to remember, hey, this person just might have just lost a parent, and this person is going through this full hero's journey of their own while I'm talking to them, but I do need them to put their credit card in a little faster because this sucks right now, you know? But it's like there is an exchange that happens, and it sucks because like it's hard to have those conversations and have people understand like the legitimacy or like the authenticity of what of you you're saying. Like you do feel gratitude and you feel like a connection with these people, and simultaneously they are showing up and supporting us, and it's amazing. And so it's one of those things where it's like it does benefit us and hopefully benefit them, and it all feeds one another. But like it's really cool that like I mean you and I would benefit from Twitter without Kickstarter. I
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like these people, yeah, for sure.
Because we have full communities growing, Stephen. Like I do a weekly movie thing now called Good Time Bad Movie, and people show up for it, and we just make. There's no money involved. No, I'm not selling anything. We're not doing anything. We're just showing up for fun, making fun of silly movies together, having jokes, like having running inside jokes with a group of friends, and it's just one night a week doing something fun, and that's all it is. I love it. I love it so much, and like all the people who've shown up for that are my freaking friends, and like you can't tell me otherwise. And like like what else is a friend? Like to me, they show up once a week to watch a movie and make jokes the same way you and I show up once a week to talk about our stuff and make jokes. It's just like this is what friendship
you guys actually get him almost as much as I do every week, if I'm really honest, because like
it's true.
We only live 35 minutes apart, but you would think that meant we were on other sides of the country. I mean, just with how busy life is. It's just how it is.
It's true. And I mean, like with COVID and with everything else, it's just like all of the world bubbled up to facilitate this like reality in which we exist in our phones a lot of the time. It is like it's an extension of ourselves, and like for some people there's an artifice, or like you get to pretend or you get like to hide or have a barrier of safety. Like you get like a safety net of some sort. And for other people, it's just like, look, this is who I am. Hopefully, like there are enough people in this water that I'm casting this wide net, and people will see me and accept me and appreciate who I am for who I am. Like and like that's I think our version of being online is like I literally use my first and last name, and I'm just like, this is me now.
Yeah, full identity, baby. It's just I just pack a glob of like Lost Boys and like Power Rangers and Coheed and Cambria, and I just lob it at the timeline and just see what happens. See, like
it's true, but like it's true, but people show up, and people are there for us. People are like show up for our show. People show up just for our jokes and our books, and like are just for us when we're going through things, and we show up for them when they're going through things, and we try to like help each other with books, and like it's this whole cool community that like I'm sure it exists in some fashion in meat spaces. However, I feel like there's more like threshold guardians. There's more like what do they call that? Gatekeeping. Like there's more gatekeeping in communities. And like that exists online as well. But like it's easier to block online. If I see if someone says something and I'm just like, oh, I don't want to be around anyone who ever.
Dude, that guy is super guarding that gate to Lord of the Rings. We just need to like walk away.
Yeah,
it's a small patch of garden where he has his opinion about Baldur, and like I think it's Baldur. I hope it's Baldur. We're just not going anywhere near. Well, his opinion is that it's Baldur, so I'm not wrong either way we look at it. And we're just gonna stay far away from that guy.
Yeah, forever. But it's so easy. Like we're not in the Black Mirror situation yet, where we could just click block and literally block out the people. If we get there, my world is gonna look so interesting. It's gonna be so interesting. But yeah, dude, I don't know. But like, I guess all of this to say, we are so thankful for all of you who show up for us, both on Kickstarter. Even if you can't back us, if you share a single post from anything that we ever post,
if you tell us that his writing or my art is good. Like
Oh yeah.
anything that like helps the process or helps us as, just be like as friends. Like, I mean, everything is contributing to the cause, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's how
and
I
like,
see it.
dude, you know what's really cool? Like, I love that not only like do people show up for us, but like reason like I get people show up in my DMs and stuff, and they're like, "Hey, can you read this thing for me?" And most of the time, Steven, I can't because they post these like it's a full book. Can you read this? And I'm like, listen, I'm literally trying to like I spend all of my time doing these things, and I wish I can share it for you. I like any money I have. If I have money, it's gone because I'm always poor because I will always just keep giving money to all of my friends all the time. But I don't have enough time to read a lot of the time. However, recently a couple of people have come to me and they're like, "Hey, I have these few like short passages, or I have these few can you read this?" I'm like, "Yes, I can do this. I poop for this amount of time, and that's just like perfect."
I can squeeze it in a bathroom right before dinner, so yes, I got you.
I got you. Like, but like, it's so cool that like people feel that like we get to do that. It's like a mutual benefaction thing. Like we get to do this to get like we're friends and we get to help each other. And like that's all we've ever wanted, and that's all you and I have ever done for each other. So
we found the people that we've always wanted to like be around, basically.
Yes.
Like other creatives, other just basically people that love this culture.
Yeah, Steven and I just want to create an entire planet of uses. We need to clone ourselves
hundreds of times.
Just
one exception.
One exception, Steven. Who would it be?
It's gonna be Jack Black, baby. That's the one exception.
Steven, if we could have a planet where it was just you and I and Jack Black, it would be just utopia.
What are you guys doing over there? Just like, Jack Black.
I mean, can you imagine though if there were that many of us? Some of us would be so jealous that they never got to meet Jack Black. You know what I mean? Like,
we would because we'll look at God Emperor Stephen and God Emperor Anthony over there on their palace throne, hanging out with their jester Jack Black all day. Like,
I do like to imagine that, like, if it were just a whole planet of us's with one Jack Black, he wouldn't even be a jester. He would just live there. Like, it would just be Jack Black somewhere.
It's just like a world of like just you and me. Like, there's like the carpenter Steven, and then there's like like accountant Anthony walking by. Then there's cop Steven, and then there's just Jack Black. It's just his job. He has one job.
His one job is be Jack Black.
He's just got to be the wild card. Basically, he takes on the mantle of the wild card because I can no longer bear it. Because how can one be a wild card amongst thousands of wild cards?
Yeah, so that's what it looks like in Steven and I's DMs. That's just that's a little preview into what it's like to just be our conversation for a little bit. But anyway, Steven, so what are we doing this week? What are you going to do?
I'm going to keep plugging, man. Like I was kind of talking to you about, you saw the pages or the page that I've been working on, and it's looking amazing. But yeah, I basically have discovered that weekends just aren't viable anymore. So I've been trying to get up even earlier than normal on the weekdays, and I'm just going to grind during weekdays now and just kind of accept if I can get like a bonus, like 3 or 4 hours on a Saturday and a Sunday, that's going to be awesome. But like, it's just not like, I used to count on that. Like when I drew Play It Again, 95% of Play It Again was drawn on a Saturday. You know what I'm saying? And that has Deathless 2 has not been that even a little bit. Every page of Deathless has been done during the week. And it's like, I really need to just reconfigure that schedule, because it's not working on the weekends. So but this page is looking awesome. And there was a lot to cram on that page, but I got it. And I mean, we're really getting to the meat and potatoes of this issue. So a lot of stuff's going on, a lot of moving things. I feel like one of the things I've always been nervous about is action, and I feel like I'm nailing the action pretty good. So a lot of emotion.
It's all it totally sells. It reads really well, and like stylistically, as a whole, it looks great on the page. And then as individual panels, it looks fantastic. Like, I think it all reads really well. I think the most important thing is always just how it reads, and like you're getting to the point again, thankfully, like it's amazing to see how like now your visual storytelling is totally showing, it's like, because sometimes like we'll lean heavily into the narrative and be like, hey, he's gonna say what's happening anyway, it's fine. Like not big, but like no, you are like 100% selling, and this book is looking so gorgeous. I can't wait. So this week, Steven, I took off from work.
So you got some. I gotta send you some TIFF files.
I took 2 days off from work, and when Wednesday comes, my plan is I'm just gonna sit in my room. I'm gonna wake up. I'm gonna get Atlas to school, and as soon as that happens, I'm gonna act like it's my job. I'm gonna act like it's my job. I'm gonna shut off my internet and literally just color. Well, I'm gonna watch a movie, but I'm gonna literally just color as hard as I can, as much as I can, and then just like take a lunch and then like go back to work and like do that, and then like I'll probably go to open mic night at night to celebrate my awesome like victory, which I'm going to have. And then Thursday, similarly, I'm going to do the exact same thing, except for I won't have to drive Atlas to work to school. So I'll just, I'm going to wake up early and I'm just going to start coloring and I'm going to catch up. And if I catch up, which I should, I'm going to start lettering and I'm going to letter as much as I possibly can. Cause like, that's going to put us way ahead,
Yeah. Then all I have to do, and shading doesn't take nearly as long. Like you remember Deathless, that was like quick.
Yeah, dude. Like, so we are in a really good place with this. If you're watching this right now, our Kickstarter is live. Please go check it out. Go click the link below. If you don't know what the book's about, there's a fun video of Stephen and I, talking about it. There's also, you can see a bunch of pages, like the work in progress as we're going. I think it's one of the best things we've ever done, if not the best thing we've ever created so far, which is, it makes me happy as hell. But like, dude, I'm so excited for this book. We also have so many issues. Like we just placed a huge order of issue 1 of Deathless for people, and also our scrapbook.
Has been out. The scrapbook has been out since like 2 cons ago, actually.
Yeah. So I'm really excited to get the scrapbook. Like people seem to love that. If you don't know about our Ostrich Colony scrapbook, it's the first 2 comic books that Stephen and I tried to put together. We have a solid full issue of a drawn and lettered comic, that we made, and also like a good chunk of like one of the most beautiful things Stephen's ever drawn, Scavengers. But yeah, we'll have that available soon. It's going to be coming to me, and I'll share that with everyone. But anyway, please go check out our Kickstarter. Make sure you're sharing it with everyone you know. If you've made it this far in our episode, you like at least one of us. Like I'm assuming it's Steven, probably the hair. But like if you made it this far, thank you, and we love you. But like, please share it with your friends, share it with your family. Like I know you might think like, oh, I don't know anyone who likes you're like, my grandma doesn't care. Sometimes people will simply just show up and you can't.
It happens every time. Every Kickstarter we've done, there are just unexpected show-ups.
Steven, like your aunt Lori shows up for us every time, like out of nowhere. Like I'll tell you right now, I will just like tell you about my prejudice here. There is nothing in my body that was like, who will really show up to support our comic book? Steven's Aunt Lori. However, she shows up, she shares our podcast, she backs the book every time. She shows up randomly. It's amazing to see. I'm just like, thank you. I love you. I'm gonna hug you. Like, this is incredible. But you might have someone like that in your life that you simply just wouldn't assume would do this, but they will. Sometimes people want to be that person. They show up for people, So anyway, all this to say, like, just please share our book or share our Kickstarter everywhere you can, so we can just have as many people read this thing and see Steven's amazing artwork and like this fun story that we're trying to tell. And so we can tell the next one. That's really all we want. So.
Yeah, and then like I said, like for me, like the far goal, even with just Deathless, is just I cannot wait till we have all the issues in the trade paperback and like I'm so excited for that. There's so much to be excited for about like in the future with this series.
I heard Fargo and my brain shut off. I was just like, oh yeah, don't you know we want to sell some comics there.
When I think of Fargo, I just think of a wood chipper. That's literally all I have in my head. William H. Macy was in some sort of remake recently. Not even that recent, but
man, the Fargo show is actually really good. All right, we should get out of here, Steven.
Yep.
All right, everyone, we love you so much. We appreciate you. If you don't follow us on Twitter and Facebook, all the links are below. Please do that. If you have questions about anything, you want us to talk about your book, you want to talk about, us talk about your Kickstarter that you launched, tell us below, tell us on Twitter, tell us on anything. Speaking of that, go check out Worlds Away from Damien. I'll post the link below. This guy's book is like this close to making it, Steven. I needed to make it. It's like just last little bit of the episode. I need you to go click Damien's book below. Just go support it, because we're trying to help everyone. And this book's really cool, actually. I put it in the background of this episode.
I see it.
But anyway. But we love you all. We appreciate all of you for everything you do for us. And we hope to see you next week. I'm Anthony.
And I'm Stevie Wildcard.
And this has been We Have Issues.
Boom. No.
No? Okay.
If I think of it, I'll say something. but I'll just go with the flow until then.
So I'm a flat earther now.
See, I've always been a concave Earth kind of guy.
Yeah, always. I'm more like a digital earther. Like I'm okay with the like simulation stuff. I get that. Like that all makes sense to me. I don't Steven. Okay, all right, let's just start. What is 132? Because we'll get into some stuff.
I mean, but simulation theory if simulation theory kind of confirms the intelligent design, though, right? I mean, at that point,
I mean, yeah, but I mean, but like, who is the designer? Is there only one?
It's
is
just
it a system?
It's Bill Gattez is actually how it's said.
Bill Gattez. Bill Gattez. Okay, so all right.